right, everybody. Welcome to West Coast Podcast. I'm your host, JJ. This is your host, Zach.
What up?
Remember here, this is where camaraderie brings friends together, sports, love. I like the Rams. He likes the Niners. We hate each other's teams, but we're still friends at the end of the day. Got to remember that.
Most days.
Most days. Depends on how good the shit talking is.
It's generally pretty good. Look, my season's over at this point. Like, I'm already looking at draft picks. Some of these the CFP. I imagine some of those guys will be wearing red and gold next year. And we'll get into football here pretty quick off the bat. The Niners season has been cursed, and I have a theory as to why. And we'll definitely get into that. So, Madden, gunshots. Like there's a couple things gone sideways here. Holdouts. Yeah, there's a whole laundry list. But we'll touch on that here a little bit more. Getting to the Rams, NFL picks. Couple other sports things that have gone on this week. MLB free agency, a little bit of hockey. Getting some pushing and shoving going on the field here. That's right. Divisional rivalry. Right. Someone get mad. It's Thursday. No one wants to be playing football. Hit each other. Let's go.
Well, the good thing about this Thursday game, they've actually had a week to all of them had a week to play,
right,
or rest and get ready. So,
yeah. And then they're going to have another long. Then I guess they'd have a long week before. But they're going to have almost 10 days.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll play Sunday because the Rams-Niners played next Thursday.
Yeah, and that'll be. Just take the W now. Just take it.
We'll be playing. I don't know. We'll see how we're doing after the Bills game. The Bills is going to be a tough matchup. So.
I still think the Bills are going to win the AFC.
Right, but after going for the Bills on a short week to go play the Niners in San Francisco, it's going to be a tough thing to do.
Well, and the Bills just went and got Micah Hyde to come out of retirement too. It's very reminiscent of Eric Weddle coming out of retirement to join the Rams in their Super Bowl year. Again, I never fault a team for going all in. The Bills are going all in this year. I think that Josh Allen is the MVP. They've got a lot of pieces there. It's the only thing that can stop them are going to be the officials.
Like I said at the beginning of the year, man, Josh Allen's going to will that team to a playoffs this year. Didn't I call that?
You did say that, but I have been very pleasantly surprised with what they've done with the running game,
right?
And with James Cook, and getting rid of all your wide receivers generally isn't a suggested move to do in the NFL when you have a window of contention open. But they've done it, and it actually worked out in their favor. It kind of worked out for everybody involved. I mean, except for Stephon Diggs, he tore his ACL in Houston, but that shit happens.
But dude, if Stephon Diggs was playing, that team would be so much better. I'm sorry, that Texans team was Texans. Yeah,
sure. Well, the Texans, I think what you're seeing with them is they're not sneaking up on anybody this year, which is what's going to happen after the run they went on last year. I think you're seeing a little bit of the growing pains with CJ Stroud, but they're still, I think, not a team. They're still going to win the South, and to have to go in there and play them is going to be a tough call for a AFC wildcard team, whoever that ends up being.
I agree. It's definitely going to be a tough team to play against, because that team's going to rally together around that defense. And then CJ Stroud, I don't know, maybe it's his sophomore slump or something. He doesn't look as dynamic as he did last year, or maybe like you said, the defense has figured him out.
Well, I do think that they've got that much more film on him, and he's seeing a lot more pressure. They're not letting him sit back there and throw the ball. They're making him rush his reads, and you do that with any quarterback. They get the happy feet. Got to get him off schedule. That's what ends up happening there. And we'll talk about Azeez Al-Shaair here in a minute, but him having to miss 3 games. Hey man, you're going to get a playmaker back for the postseason.
Right, rested playmaker.
He may have something to prove. So let's see. See how that works. At that point, fuck it. Just start clotheslining everybody. Like,
right. All right. What sport should we jump in first here?
Let's get into the Niners here. We can get into the Niners. Niners have gotten annihilated in the cold weather 2 weeks in a row. Came out, looked okay that opening drive against the Bills, and then McCaffrey gets hurt. Mason gets hurt. Fumble on the goal line. The season's it's hard to watch. Fred Warner is playing on one leg. He said he's going to keep going out there every week. Why, dude?
Right.
I get it. You're the captain and you lead by example. You have a broken bone in your leg, dude. go. We appreciate it. You gutted it out all season. It sucks that he got hurt because everyone saw those first 3 weeks of the season playing like a man possessed. I mean, interceptions, forced fumbles, pick sixes, tackles for loss, sacks, everything. And then, he's crippled. He's playing on one leg. Watching him try to change direction on one leg in the snow on the second, I think it was a Josh Allen run that got him down within the 5. I mean, it sucks. It's hard to watch. The McCaffrey situation, I mean, who knows what happened? Is it because he got married in the offseason? Was he not focused? Is it the contract extension? Or is it once again the Madden curse?
I blame the Madden curse.
I think the Madden curse, between the Madden curse, you've got McCaffrey missing most of the season. You got the Ayuk holdout, him tearing his ACL, Ricky Pearsall getting shot, Trent Williams and his wife that came to light this week, them having that horrible tragedy with their pregnancy and losing both babies. Like, I'm sorry, can we just maybe put Madden's dead? Let's start putting him on the cover.
Right? Let's keep him on the cover.
Right. Yeah. Let's start put retired players on there or do something like that. It's just, the curse is real. And you go back year by year by year. There's never been a year that the Madden curse hasn't negatively affected a player or a team. I can't think of one. There really isn't.
Brady and Mahomes both didn't get affected by it.
I want to say the year Mahomes did it was the year he lost the Super Bowl to Brady.
Was it? Okay. I forget what year it was, but I know they both were on it, and they both.
If there's going to be exceptions, give me one of those two assholes, But
right.
But besides that, I mean, Michael Vick went to federal prison. Peyton Hillis was out of the league a year later. Like it's the real deal. It's hard to watch for the Niners, and for Niner fans who were saying that Kyle Shanahan needs to be fired. We went to the fucking Super Bowl last year. The guy has earned a touchdown Detroit.
Yep.
The man has earned a year of grace. The salary cap is going up. Yeah, so we're not going to have a bunch of money to convert a bunch of signing bonuses salary cap hits and signing bonuses to free up cap space. I still say that finish out the season, see what you've got depth wise. You're going to have a better pick than you've had the last couple of years. You're going to have we're probably going to have a 4th place schedule next year. Get healthy, extend Brock. I do think that you need to address, and we talked about this last week a little bit, address the defensive coordinator position. Do you bring back Saleh? Do you bring in Jeff Ulbrich? Oh, he's down.
It looks like they're going to call him down just short.
They're going to bring that back. Yeah, he's going to be short.
But yeah, I mean, real quick, on the Sunday game, man, that was tough to watch just the players play. Even the Bills were slipping around, man. Playing a snow globe is no fun for anybody. And for a guy like McCaffrey to go out there and just from recovering his injury, man, that's a sketchy situation, man.
Well, it is, but I mean, he looked great that those first opening drives. He looked like he was finally getting his stride, and then you get that shoestring tackle, and he comes down right on his kneecap. And it's unfortunately
frozen ground.
It's how you get a patellar injury like that. It's even though the ground is technically heated there, it's still cold. Like
it's still fucking rock solid.
Yeah, it's still not comfortable to play on. I was surprised that the Bills were slipping as much as they were, considering that's their home stadium, and if there's any team that should be good, they'd be used to playing conditions like that, it would be a team like the Bills or the Packers or the Bears or Baltimore or Cleveland, or I mean, like one of those upper.
They did slip a lot less. Yeah. That's what I would say. They did slip a lot less. It looked like they had more traction, but not as much as the Niners had.
Yeah, for sure. And it was and I hate to say this, and I don't really think you can put this all on Shanahan. This team is beat up. Like they had such high expectations coming into this year, and for it to have gone the way it is, it has to be a little bit demoralizing. But I also believe that the leaders in that locker room, the Fred Warners, the Purdys, Juszczyk, George Kittle, like those guys are going to go out there and get these guys ready to play each week. Playing the Bears this week, the Bears have been. And I was talking with a Bears fan about this today. The Bears are one of those teams, they've lost a lot of real close games this year. And that's the sign of a team that's really close.
Oh, they stuffed them again.
They did. They're going to take your points, kick the ball here.
Yeah, they're going. Do you think they'll go for a field goal? Do you think Detroit's going to go for a field goal here after they just got stuffed?
I forgot who I was looking at. They're definitely not kicking a fucking field goal.
And it's like 40 seconds to go. Yeah, they're not even calling a timeout. Let's see here. Yeah, they try to give it to Gibbs. Or is that Montgomery? Yeah, that's Montgomery. Montgomery just gets hit in the backfield right
Yeah,
away, and they
I
just
think they really should have
game
had
tackle him.
a lead blocker in front of him on that to try to pick up what was going on. But
Right. Let's see,
yeah, I mean,
26 seconds left.
could the Niners show up this week and beat the Bears? Sure. Could Caleb? I mean,
I'm picking them to win.
I'm not. I've seen nothing the last 2 weeks. The Bears have been close in the last 3 games they've been in.
Right,
The
but
Niners,
the way that the Bears offense plays right into the defense of the way the Niners are known to
okay,
be
you have the
strong at.
Niners defense with a healthy Bosa and Warner and Hufanga and Diamador Lenore and guys
Right.
like that. Lenore's going to be back this week. They just opened the practice window for Hufanga. Dre Greenlaw is not coming back till the following Thursday in the Rams game. Bosa's questionable.
Okay.
So, I mean, and look, everyone likes to make fun of Nick Bosa and his MAGA hat and stuff like that. The stats tell a story.
He's great.
If there's a quarterback who has a lot of melanin in his skin, Nick Bosa tends to play a little bit better against them. And Baker Mayfield. He hates Baker Mayfield. You know?
It's because they're old college rivalries, right?
The college rivalry, exactly, you know? So.
And touchdown Lions. Easy throw for Goff.
When I went to Gibbs, cool. I got him going in fantasy. Nice. I needed points. So I'm in bye-week this week. I mean, sure. A lot of things happen this week. I will say that the Bears look like they've been so close. It makes you wonder if they would have gotten rid of Eberflus in the offseason, which they should have. Right. Where would they be? And I'm sorry, the NFC North is starting to turn into a little bit of what everyone thought the AFC North was going to be, just stacked.
Right.
Stacked.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Now, is Caleb Williams going to have a sophomore slump? Do I expect him to put in all the work in the offseason? He ain't putting in shit.
No. Especially with the new offensive coordinator going in there, and they're going to change everything around that offense. That whole coaching staff's going to be uprooted this year.
Potentially, it could be. And again, it depends who they bring in. I know a lot of Bear fans were like, "Oh man, if they get rid of Shanahan, you know, it's like we could take him here." They just extended Shanahan and Lynch before last season. They're tied together at the hip for the next 6 years. I think it's what the conference. Neither of them are going anywhere. Like Niner fans, like, need I remind you of? I mean, I'm old. I remember the Dennis Erickson era. I remember the Mike Nolan days. I remember the part of the Mike Singletary era. Jim Tomsula, Chip Kelly, anybody? This isn't that.
That's what my brother brought up. My brother's like, no, I remember Singletary and Chip Kelly. Is like, I don't want Shanahan gone.
Now, I will say that Mike Singletary did help get that defense its identity that when Harbaugh came in, fully exploited. So right. I will say that, you know, Samurai Mike did help get things going the right direction there. He saved Vernon Davis's career. I think anybody who remembers him kicking him off the field and then making him come back and get his helmet and leave again, that's saved Vernon Davis's career for sure. But as far as I'm concerned, the season is over. Hey, if they can play spoiler down the stretch, ruin some teams' playoff hopes, cool. That's all the victories I think I'm going to get this year out of it.
I just think with the coaching staff changing so much in that offense, it's going to be such a different scheme that I don't think the Bears will be knowing what they're doing. They're already what's his face? Williams is already confused enough as he is out there.
Yeah, they are asking a lot out of him, and I wonder if, you know, this coming week, if they're going to simplify the playbook a little bit for him. I mean, I know they've already
simplifying it.
Yeah, I mean, how much more can you simplify it? I mean,
right.
Yeah, you know, that's going to be, I think, a big is going to play a large role in the head coach they bring in and what they want to do. A lot of head coaches would be excited to go work with a young quarterback.
He's a talented quarterback. He's got talent.
Right.
He's got the skill there. I was going to say, though, I still mainly blame Eberflus for not calling a timeout, but Caleb Williams should never change the play call at the line of scrimmage like that.
No, and if you wanted to, use the timeout.
Yeah. That's what Eberflus was like. He's changing my play. No, he should have gone out there and called a timeout. Right. He's a young rookie quarterback in the NFL right now. Don't let him. And, you know, there'd be one thing if he was like the Washington Commanders quarterback, going out there and winning games with his arm. But Caleb Williams hasn't done that yet. Caleb Williams has relied on his defense to win them games. They haven't relied on him and his brain to win them games. So you can't let him go out there and make that decision. They just needed a few yards to get that game time field goal, and we'd be having a different discussion right now. would have a
Yeah,
completely different discussion.
they would. And when you look at the all 22 footage, the the way that the other Bears players on the sideline is reacting, I really speaks to like Eberflus. He had lost that locker room weeks in advance,
Right.
and all that did was
Yeah.
really seal just that's coaching malpractice right there on national TV
Right.
on the day when everybody's sitting around like both
Watching
the people in
you.
their kitchens probably were like, why aren't they calling a timeout? What are they?
Dude,
What?
everybody,
Yeah,
I knew was like, why isn't this guy
dude,
calling
I
a
heard my
timeout?
neighbors yelling, dude. Like,
Like 26, everybody knows you get sacked with like less than 30 seconds. You got to call a timeout. I'm sorry. The offense doesn't got enough time to come
well,
down the field.
you either call the timeout, you don't not call the timeout and change the play.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
It was so bad. It was just that last 30 seconds was so bad. Just so horrendous. Someone
yeah.
needed to get fired from that. I'm sorry.
Well,
You're either firing
look,
the quarterback, benching the quarterback, or you're firing the coach.
look, Eberflus was gone after the season anyway, and all he
Right.
did was just get a early start in his Christmas shopping. So
One thing about fired head coaches, man, they get paid all their money guaranteed.
right, they do.
So it doesn't matter what he's doing. He's going to get paid for the next couple of years, millions of dollars.
Look, and he'll get a job probably like on a college staff somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he'll have a job next year.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Should we get to our picks then?
Let's jump into it. Let's go.
All right. So let's go ahead and I'll share last week's right here. I killed last week. Here we go. 12-9. 75%. You got the Bears Lions because somehow the Bears stayed in by a field goal.
Yeah,
And that's the thing, man. Like, we're going against the Lions in here that close. Like, how do you not call a timeout there? Like, you are about to knock off the top dog in the league, the overtime, take the top dog in the league, and maybe make them have their second loss of the year, and all because you didn't call a timeout.
Yeah.
This little hand motion.
Bad teams are bad consistently from the top down for a lot of reasons.
Right.
And the Bears really, I mean, I don't know if it starts all the way up at ownership. I do think that it probably does start with the GM. Obviously, it's the coaching staff. They do have a lot of talent on that roster. And regardless of the incompetence that they are showing with that coaching staff, those dudes are still managing to do a lot of winning because they do have a talented roster. If they were to bring in like, I don't know, like if Harbaugh would have stayed at Michigan another year, like him taking that Bears job would have been, something to think about. He played for the Bears for a year. He ended his career in Indianapolis. Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. While I don't think he's going to make a move in the division, I would think a mind like that with that offense and a young quarterback could probably work pretty well.
Right.
Doug Peterson might be the guy because I think he's done in Jacksonville. Him going and taking that job in Chicago, not a bad idea, I think.
I don't think so either. I think Doug Peterson would work there. So yeah, I agree with you right there on that one. And then let's see here. So there's a couple more. The Browns Broncos. And what's his face here? Like, what Winston's going to come in and play some magic, and it just played right into my hand.
I mean, Jameis Winston had more yards in return interceptions than Deshaun Watson threw 4 yards to a Cleveland in a game for Cleveland this year. That's how good Jameis Winston is.
Don't get me wrong. I love Jameis Winston. I love his pregame speech. I love the way he acts.
It's become appointment television. Like, he's going to throw a bad pick and then throw an 85-yard bomb to his own team. Like,
as long as he's not on my team, I enjoy him because I don't think I can handle all that commotion if he's a backup.
I would start drinking again. I would 100% start drinking again if Jameis Winston was my quarterback. But the one thing I like about Jameis Winston is like he's matured so much since his rookie year, and you can see like the joy he has for the game. It's palpable. And I like seeing that. I mean, you see a lot of guys out there, it's a slog, it's a grind. They're not laughing, they're not having fun. Their bodies hurt. Or Jameis he's had an ACL injury, he's had a suspension.
Right.
He hasn't, had the easiest path through the NFL. But to watch him running around out there doing stuff like that, and like, you want to talk about a gunslinger, Jameis doesn't give a fuck. He's like, is he open? Yeah.
Maybe. Right? That's what I mean. He's entertaining to watch, and I love every minute of watching him as long as he's not on my team.
I fully think that he should be the starter in Cleveland next year.
I hope so. I really hope so. I don't know why. Well, besides you got that $85 million horse in the back.
Well, he's got that Achilles. Maybe it'll take a little bit longer than expected to heal. Maybe he has to start the season on injured reserve.
Right.
I think that Jameis Winston has earned that job in Cleveland. Those guys are playing for him. They look a lot better with him at quarterback than they've looked all season better. With Watson.
100% better.
It's a foregone conclusion in my opinion. So
right. And there was another game I wanted to mention. I was watching the Seahawks Jets game a lot because it was actually an interesting match.
It was close.
At one point, the Seahawks were at the 1 yard line, and they had 8 chances to get it in. Somehow, both teams ended up burning a timeout. The Jets because they had too many men on the field, and the Seahawks because they couldn't get the play off in time. Like, how do you do that on the 1 yard line? Like middle of the second quarter, they just both burn a timeout. That was bad.
I mean, it's a rookie.
Plays
it's two rookie head coaches, so I get part of it too. But Seattle, I thought, should have rolled in that game as much as they need that to try to salt away and get some space in the NFC West.
Right.
The Jets. Yeah, dude.
It's the Jets.
Aaron Rodgers has burned that franchise down. In 2 years, only playing for one of them, completely destroyed the soul of that franchise.
Well, Zach Wilson has more wins than the Jets at this time of the year last year.
Yeah, he did.
Dude, that's how bad that division. I'm sorry, New York. You got.
I can pick. I just want to mention that to them and then run away because they're going to want to fight me when I tell them that.
Someone needs to apologize to Zach Wilson from New York and be like, "I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You were wrong. It wasn't you." He's like, "Yeah, I told you it wasn't me. It was that weirdo."
Now I want to see what Zach Wilson has with the Broncos. He's with the Broncos, right?
He is. I think he's not even. He's the third string. He's the emergency QB. Yeah, I think Jared Stidham is number 2.
Right.
So does he? I mean, he'll probably be on the waiver wire again. He'll probably be a free agent after the season again.
I think so.
Look, Zach Wilson is still young enough and still has all the physical skills. Like, he's not. Look, Brandon Allen didn't look that good. Josh Dobbs is officially the number 2 in San Francisco now. Like,
right.
Those are always rotating positions there. Zach Wilson will probably make a lot of money holding clipboards in this league over the next 5 to 7 years.
Well, I mean, look at the Vikings quarterback. I mean, he got run out of New York, right? He was New York's quarterback too, I thought.
Yeah, so Darnold left there, went to Carolina, ended up having to spend last year in San Francisco. And then it was supposed to be like a dick around rebuilding year for the Vikings. The Vikings are tied for first place if Detroit loses tonight.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be. I don't think the way this game's looking, Detroit's not losing, even with all their injured defensive players.
No. I agree. It does set up though. I don't know if Detroit goes because I want to say that the last game of the season is Detroit in Minnesota, and so. Right. Right. It's going to be there's going to be so much on the line there because then it's tied. They split the season series. Then you start getting into tiebreaker scenarios like points for, points against, like division records. Like there's so much that could possibly happen. It's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And James, let's not lie here. We know that the NFL script writers are already looking down the road at that.
Oh yeah. They're salivating at that game, making sure that they're both going to be in contention to be a tie there at the end of the year.
But so we're going to start making picks for this week. We might as well start with this one: the return of Kirk Cousins to Minneapolis.
Well, let's go ahead and start with Kirk Cousins in Minneapolis. Oh yeah, Falcons. Vikings.
Falcons. Vikings. What's the spread on that one actually?
Vikings are favored by 6. I mean, more than a touchdown, less than a touchdown, I'm taking the Vikings personally. I think that defense is too much it'll be too much for Atlanta.
Yeah, and Kirk threw 4 real bad interceptions last week against the Chargers. I'm with you. I'm going to say that Kirk's going to come home. He's going to get a nice standing ovation and then do Kirk Cousins things. So I
Right.
also I'm going to go with the Vikings on this one because really I want the Vikings to keep up with the Lions here so we can get to that last week scenario we just discussed.
Exactly. So that's what I'm hoping for too. And so we already picked the Packers-Lions game. I'm taking the Packers with the points because it's a field goal, and I felt like this game was going to be a little bit closer with all the hurt players on the defense. Like they have no front seven, but somehow the Lions are still biting kneecaps on their way up. So, what can you say? Next up, we got the Saints-Giants. Saints are favored by 4.5. No Taysom Hill on this one.
No Taysom Hill.
This is tough, man. 4.5's tough.
Especially
this
go
game.
with the Saints. The Giants, is it Drew Lock? Is it Tommy Soprano,
right.
whatever the hell his name is? Yeah, dude, I know. The Giants are done. Their season's over. Okay. I'm going with the Saints on this one.
I forgot who their quarterbacks are now without because he's just completely left. Has he signed with anywhere yet or no?
Who? Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones, yeah. I was going to call him Jason Dart, but I know.
He's with
who?
The Vikings.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
man.
He signed to their practice squad last week. I bet that at some point he makes his way onto the active roster as the 2 or the 3.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Jaguars Titans, and I'm taking the Titans with the -3.5.
I'm going to do the same. The Jaguar season is over.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence on the IR with a concussion, also has a bad ankle, a bad shoulder. I think he had a rib injury earlier this year too. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, dude's been playing beat up all year long, and I respect him. He's a gamer going out there trying to get it done. You've earned the right to go home early, dude.
Right. Especially after taking that gnarly hit. Let's get into that a little bit.
Time here. Okay, Aziz Al-Shaair, everyone's seen the hit. Trevor Lawrence, flushed out of the pocket, goes to his left. Shaair sees him. He's a runner. He's past the line of scrimmage. Comes in hot. Coming in hot. Lawrence slides a little bit late. Shaair comes in, hits him with the forearm high, right across the face, knocks him the fuck out. The Jaguars, react as teams do, pumping from behind. There's some scuffles on the field. Shaair gets ejected. There's another scuffle as he's being led off the field. Gets a 3-game suspension.
Right.
It was 100% ejecting him was the right move.
100%.
They ejected a Jaguars player for coming off the sideline and engaging in a fight. Them's the rules. That's how that goes. 3 games to me is excessive.
I thought so too. I think so too.
It's not nearly as bad as when you see defensive backs targeting defenseless receivers or anything like that. He was a runner with the football. I think a game was plenty. If it's not the quarterback, if that's a running back, a wide receiver, someone else like that, who even knows if he gets ejected at that point. But I think 3 games is excessive, and it's just another example, in my opinion, of the NFL's random wheel of discipline. There's no consistency in how punishments are handed out in this league. The fact that John Runyon, who is walking with CTE as he's, after his playing days and was a dirty player in his rights, is the guy going to be going out and handing out suspensions and stuff like that, to me is absolutely ridiculous. But, here it is. Al-Shaair is going to get a little break, like we talked about earlier, come back ready for the playoff run and probably be looking to be hurt people. So.
Right. And then I was going to say what John Runyon says at the end there, your lack of sportsmanship and respect for the game of football and those who play, coach, enjoy watching are troubling and does not reflect the core values of the NFL is fucking bullshit. I want to see big hits, but I don't want to see dirty hits. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a little bit of a dirty hit because, like you said, he led with his forearm. Maybe if he would have tried to go up and try to clear him, maybe that's a little bit different story. But since he did lead with the forearm, it was kind of ugly. That's what literally gave him the concussion, that he has today and knocked him the fuck out.
I don't know if the forearm or his head ricocheting off the ground. It could have been both,
I think it was a little bit. To me, the slow motion, you kind of see him kind of flinch up already as soon as before he even hits the ground.
There's one picture where Lawrence is sliding and his eyes are like that big because he sees he's like, fuck.
He's just going to die right now.
That's what he was thinking. Was like, oh no, But no, John Runyon, I think, went way out of line by personally attacking Alshair's character. This
Right.
you were the league office. You're supposed to keep it professional.
Yeah, that's
Going
not
that
protecting the
route, I
shield.
thought was not was unprofessional on his part by saying something like that.
It was. But I know that another thing is I have to agree with Tom Brady here. It's where the defender is not the sole person responsible here. Trevor Lawrence needs to go down sooner, or you
Right.
need to give up sooner if you don't want to get killed. I'm sorry.
No, he's right.
This is a physical game.
You have to protect yourself on the field when you're the runner with the football.
Yeah, 100%. Like all these like little people like getting flagged for just
oh wow,
what a bomb. What
Christian
a bomb.
Watson trying to make up for himself. Oh, did you hear yourself down, Christian Watson?
I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped it.
Like my grandma.
Dude, that was a nice bomb by Jordan Love there. Let's see, what was that? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, almost 70-yard bomb going all the way down the end there. So, nice throw. Dude, that's the spark you need to get back in this game for Green Bay.
Again, you come out, it's the and what was the safety on that one? He must have been looking the other direction.
Right. He must have got looked off real quick. But as I was saying, yeah, Tom Brady has it right. You can't just give up, go on the sidelines and barely give up, and like half give it up, half not give up, half give up, half not get up, and then get clocked, and then expect him to throw a flag on the play.
There have been multiple players who've been like these players doing like the dekes on the sideline and the fake slide. It's like Mahomes did it against the Niners earlier this year and picked up an extra couple yards and got a first down. So I think at that point the defenders are like, "Fuck it, I'm just going to light these guys up."
And then I'm going to take the 15
want to play around with the little fake deke and the fake slide. This is going to be the other side of that. You're going to end up wearing one on the chin.
Right. Like last year, Rams Seahawks. Or no, the year before, Ramsey was still on the team. Ramsey's Geno Smith's coming up. Ramsey steps off onto the sideline to not hit him, and he's just standing there. He stopped his motion, but Geno Smith runs into him, and they still call a flag on Ramsey for that. And it's like, how's he supposed to do anything? What's he supposed to do there? He literally stopped and tried not to hit him, but he gets hit, and then they call a flag on that 15-year. That was bullshit. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He was in his path. But
look, and the officials are gonna err on the side of protecting the quarterback because they are the stars. A lot of money wrapped up in them and stuff like that. But at some point, the quarterbacks have to be somewhat responsible for their own safety on the field.
Everybody with the ball needs to be responsible for their own safety, whether it's a defensive lineman that picks up the ball off a fumble or it's the quarterback. Touchdown Packers. Thank you. 14. Hopefully it's going to be 14-7. Next up, we got Panthers Eagles. Eagles are favored by 13, and I'm taking Eagles with the points here. I know the Panthers have been looking good, but they are nowhere near ready to go.
You know what? I'm actually going to say that Carolina covers the spread.
You want to cover? Okay. Nice. Okay. Change it up a little bit. Next up, we got Browns Steelers. Steelers are favored by a touchdown. And I'm going to take I'm going to go with the Watson here and be like Deshaun Watson. Or
Winston.
Not Deshaun Watson.
Winston.
Winston is going to come up and do some magic and keep them in this game again. Now it's not going to be a snowy road.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I'm going to go with you and say that Cleveland covers the spread.
It's just because it's a touchdown. If this was 6 points, then I would totally take the Steelers. Yeah. I still think the Steelers are going to win, but it's going to be by less than a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree.
So, next up, we got the Raiders versus the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers are favored by 6.5. And I got to take the Buccaneers still. I don't know what the Raiders are. They got no quarterback. They got no wide receivers. All they got is Brock Bowers.
Did I just see that Mike Evans was out again? Hold on.
Yeah, all they got is Brock Bowers. And then Max Crosby.
They got Brock Bowers. That's their entire offense.
Yeah, and then they got Crosby on the other side destroying people. 2 players, don't get me wrong, you're going to squeeze out a win here and there, and you're going to surprise people and be in games at the end. But I think the Buccaneers can just way outpass them. If this gets into a shooting contest,
it's not going to get into a shooting contest because the Raiders don't have anybody who can play offense. Yeah, Brock Bowers is great, but they don't have any other offensive weapons or a quarterback. So I'm with you.
Exactly.
I'm going to take Tampa Bay as well.
Well, yeah. If this was a touchdown, I'd be more second guessing. But right now it's under 6.5, and I gotta take that. It's just the opposite of the Raiders. I mean, Browns Steelers.
Yeah.
If this was a touchdown, I'd be second guessing. If that was, the last one was a touchdown, I'd be second guessing. Next up, this is going to be an interesting game. Jets Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 5.5. Divisional rivalry games are always good. Even
Where's
if
the game? Is the game in New York or is it in Miami?
It's in Miami.
I'm going to take Miami because of the warm weather and the Jets.
Same.
The Jets are not playing inspired right now. They're already thinking about the offseason.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is already thinking about his next darkness retreat.
Exactly. And he's like, man, I got a bag full of mushrooms with my name on it. Let's party.
Right. This is going to be a good one. Seahawks Cardinals. In Arizona, Cardinals are favored by 2.5. Do you think this? The Seahawks have been on a roll, man. The Seahawks have been looking like legit.
I think they know that they have an opportunity here to put a bit more of a chokehold on the division right now. I think Seattle comes in 2.5. I think Seattle wins by a field goal.
That's what I was thinking too. Honestly, that's what I have them at. I have it. I have Arizona on my sheet, so I'm gonna go with Arizona win this game. I think that's because I need it to happen. So I'm hoping that my gut feeling is right. I have Arizona on my spreadsheet, so that'll be nice, man. If Arizona wins, that puts the Rams right back into this contest a little bit closer.
Yeah, I mean, I would. The sports fan in me wants Arizona to win just to keep the chaos going in the NFC West.
Right.
But the pragmatist in me sees that Seattle's put together some good games in a row here, and should rock and roll at this one a little bit.
Sorry, Peanut wants to join us.
We got our guest picker today.
Right. Next up, just in time, Peanut. Bills versus Rams. Bills are favored by 3.5. I mean, no. Here, you know what I'm going here. I'm going Rams all the way.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with the Bills. The Bills have been beating the crap out of teams lately. They're playing a complete brand of football. I'm going to go with Buffalo.
Okay. A little bit, touch on the Rams a little bit before we move on.
Go for it.
I already have my little scenario here. 4 out of 132. That is the Rams' third down conversion this year.
What was that number again?
43 out of 132. That's less than a 38% on third down conversions. If they can start converting their third downs, this team will have a lot more success, just like every team. The more third downs you convert is better. But this is a first and second down team. If they don't get the first down after the second down, they're more likely punting the ball this year. And that's what the numbers have to speak about it. So in this game, the Rams-Bills game, if the Rams don't convert third downs more than they have been, they started doing it in the second half of the Saints game, and that's what led them to victory. They need to do it this week versus Buffalo. We'll see what happens. Next up, we got the Bears-Niners. Niners are favored by 4 points. I didn't know they were favored by 4 points. I think the Niners win, but by a field goal. I think Jake Moody comes in clutch. He finally gets off his sneed and comes in here and kicks a field goal.
Well, I think that his 2 misses last week, especially that long one. What are you asking the guy to kick a 50-yard plus field goal? Ooh, interception, Green Bay.
Oh, and he's got the ball. He's going to go, and he's out of bounds. Come on, buddy. That's the quarterback. You truck the quarterback right there.
Jared Goff's not a small dude, I mean, he's actually bigger than that defensive back.
Right. Still, man, if I'd still want to try to truck the quarterback, see what he got on me.
I'm a Niner fan through and through, but what I've seen the last 2 weeks, they're just uninspired. Can't stop anybody on defense. I think Chicago wins this one.
Oh, man. He just read Goff's eyes there and totally jumped that route.
Goff stared down the receiver, which is really rare for him this year.
Yeah. It's rare for Goff to stare down a receiver anytime. Even when he was with the Rams, he was always a good, all right, let's go my reads. Sometimes, he would stare down his first read too long and try to bite off the defender, but after his second year with McVay, he started not doing that a lot more. I'm sorry. So you said the Bears or
Yeah,
Niners?
Bears.
Okay. Like I said, I think the Niners win, but it's only going to be by a field goal. Oh, did they just lose Branch too? Did Branch is he going to stay down? No, he's getting
No,
up.
he
Okay.
popped up.
Okay. I just saw him rolling around on the ground. I was going to say, dude, they can't lose another defensive player.
Well, remember they just signed Jamal Adams, so
Right. But still, if they lose,
I don't think he's dressed tonight. I don't think Jamal Adams is in uniform.
I don't think he is either. And we'll see what he's got left. Jamal Adams got left in the tank. He played with the Rams last year. He looked good in some plays, but man, he was definitely not the Jamal Adams of what he used to be.
I mean he has had he had so many injuries towards the end of his time in Seattle, and
Right.
then there's all that weird stuff that happened. That like half year he was in Baltimore. But
they gave him that first down.
I mean, if they're just asking him to fill in towards the latter half of the season, there may be just enough left in the tank. Again, I use a lot of the comparisons to the Rams signing Eric Weddle during their Super Bowl season.
Right. I agree. Next up, we got Chargers Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 4. Ooh, touchdown Green Bay.
John Jacobs
yeah,
some say out there, and just like that, the score flips.
Green Bay's winning. Yep. Dude, those picks, man, those turnovers are deadly in football,
especially deep in your own territory. That's killer.
That's what I was about to say. Deep in their own territory, and right now Green Bay's rolling, man. All of a sudden, the Lions don't got an answer for them. That offense, man. They're
completely confused on defense on that play, also. So
yeah, and he just trucks it in there, man. He just like, nope, I'm getting to that goal line. No one's stopping me. Yeah. Chargers Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 4, and I'm still going to take Kansas City with the points. I think they win by a touchdown. I'm guessing more than 4 points. Chargers defense is good.
I'm going to say that the Chiefs back-to-back division games barely snuck that out against the Raiders. Right. The Chargers are finally starting to develop an identity. I'm going to go with the Chargers on this one.
Okay. The Chargers cover you think the Chargers win, or they just cover the spread?
What's the spread?
4 points.
Chargers cover the spread.
Okay. That's what I'm kind of thinking too. But I don't know. I think Chiefs might pull something out like, what the fuck? Why do we keep letting the Raiders beat us so bad? Let's come out here and show the NFL what's going on.
One of those division rivalries where, I mean, the Raiders, they look like shit all year long. They looked great last week. They're going to look like shit again this week. But when Kansas City comes around, they get amped up for it. So
let's go see how the Chargers play in the cold too in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. I don't think that's going to affect them too much.
Okay, interesting. Last game of the week, a game that everybody's been begging them to flex out, but they can't because it's the Nickelodeon game of the year. Bengals versus Cowboys. Bengals are favored by 6 points.
Yep.
Yeah. Cover.
Joe Burrow and company. It's just going to be, just another Dallas loss on national television.
Honestly, I still think this is going to be a huge point. I think this is going to break 60 points, personally.
Oh, no, you definitely bet the over on this game. No doubt about it.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge point spread because the way Joe Burrow's throwing and the way the Cowboys defense is going, it's just this score is going to get run amok. Cowboys will probably get 20 points, but I'm expecting the Bengals to put up another 44 points like they have been doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's our picks for this week. But yeah, so my notebook here. Let's see what I have for this week. The Rams game here. Oh. McVay seemed visibly displeased when Blake Corum got off the field. Because Blake Corum was driving those plays in the Saints in the beginning. He looked fresh. He looked young. His young, fresh body looked like he was ready to go rip some points versus the Saints. And he was doing it very well. I thought Blake Corum had his best game of the year so far. He looked like he got used to the NFL speed. He was making good, decent cuts, and he was going upfield. But he did the Anthony Richards thing where he kind of tapped his head and he needed a breather, and McVay did not like that. He did not see much of the field after that.
Well, at the same time, how effective can he be if he's tired out there? That leads to errors, that leads to fumbles and stuff like that. And is that on McVay not getting him enough run earlier in the season to make sure that he was ready for the situation?
exactly. But also, I mean, Kyron Williams goes in there snapped after. That's what he's expecting, right? He's expecting him
Right.
to be in there snapped after snap after snap. It just, I honestly, it just so happened to look out that Corum went out and McVay's just like, wait, where? Like the camera had him be on McVay, and he's just looking around like, you came off the field right now? Are you serious? And he just fucking threw his hands up and started storming down the field and calling his next play.
Yeah, well, I
So
mean, it's McVay and Shanahan are not known for their lack of their lack of being demonstrative on the sideline.
right,
And again, like this is a rookie coming off a long season who he hasn't had a full NFL offseason yet.
no, not yet. Still, McVay looked like I thought that was one of the biggest things I saw of the game was McVay visibly displeased. Hi, Roxy. That he came off because he was doing so good, so good. He was getting passes. He was breaking the line of scrimmage. Him and Kyron Williams were doing this 1-2 thing, and then after that, like I said, he's like, "You're tired. All right, you can sit down and go get some water." And he was pretty much done the rest of the day. So, heads up, Corum. Can't do that in McVay office, apparently. I wish you all the best, and I hope he's still on the team because he needs to go play next week.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to cut him for that. But again,
right.
I put some of this too on the Rams training staff and on McVay. Corum didn't see the field for the first 4 weeks of the season.
No.
So to expect him to be in game shape after not getting him game action, those things don't go together.
Right. I felt bad for Taysom Hill going down, man. That was a gnarly knee injury.
Yeah.
Hopefully he bounces back quickly. I like watching Taysom Hill.
By bouncing back quickly, like next year. Oh, speaking of, we got an official down.
Oh, wonder what happened there. Did you catch the replay? What happened there?
No, they haven't shown it yet.
Okay.
The Vegas sniper up in the rafters got him, I think is what happened.
Oh, shit. Script writer's going to have to fill in another role here.
I'm sure. Oh, no, he's up. He's moving.
That would be funny if you actually saw like a Chiefs cap out there right now. It's like, dude, you're my best player. Where the fuck are you? What are you doing on the ground? Yeah, Taysom Hill going down. Oh, he just gets clipped by a lineman.
By a dude way bigger than him. Oh, he cut him up high, too.
Yeah. I think he just knocked the wind out of him.
I mean, you got hit by a tree. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Good boy.
Unsuspecting blindside hit by a tree.
Yeah.
But yeah, Taysom Hill, man, the way he went down, dude, I do not like. Yes, I was glad he was like, oh, cool, he's going to be out for a play. But then I saw the replay, I was like, oh,
they took him off the field on a cart. Like, yeah, he's done for the year.
Yeah, no, because they showed the replay like right after. I was like, cool, this guy's going to be down for a minute or two, and they're not going to get this drive, and that's going to keep the Rams moving in the direction. As soon as I saw that, I was like, dude, you're a fucking asshole for saying that shit. Like, now I'm a jackass. And so, yeah, hopefully that's why I'm up here wishing him speedy recovery. Like I said, I like watching Taysom Hill play. You never know what he's going to do.
He's a unique dude in the scheme of the NFL in terms of he doesn't. Yeah, he's hard to pigeonhole as to what he does. So exactly. Yeah, fun to watch. And again, never like seeing anybody get hurt. So hopefully
not like that, especially not like that.
So hopefully, whatever surgery he has, gets his knee put back together, gets into his rehab, and comes back at some point next year. Because we're getting to the point in the season where guys who get hurt now, beginning of the season is in jeopardy.
Right, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I wish him a speedy recovery so he's already back at the beginning of the season. I mean, that trick pump play, even though it didn't work, it was very, very entertaining to watch. So,
and that is one of the great things about having a guy like Taysom Hill in your arsenal is you can come up with absolutely bonkers trick plays like that shouldn't make any sense, but they work when you have people like that.
And I could see the Army quarterback doing that, coming in and playing a Tyreek Hill role, or not Tyreek Hill.
Taysom Hill.
Huh?
Taysom Hill. Yeah.
Taysom Hill role in the NFL and being really good at it too, because he's a big, strong QB that can run just like Taysom Hill, and he's got an accurate enough arm.
Don't guys that come out of the Army and Navy programs have to go do their 4 years though?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
But doesn't the NIL money offset that at this point? How does any of that work?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure if the NFL wanted,
didn't you get NIL money when you're enlisted? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you get NIL money in the
I'll do
Army.
some research on that tomorrow on the company time.
Right. I was going to say, though, I'm pretty sure if the NFL wants a player from the Army or Navy, they're going to be like, here's some money. He's ours now.
Yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly, actually.
So, well, the NFL lawyers are some of the best lawyers out there. All right.
Excuse me.
Let's go ahead and move on to other sports then.
Let's get into some hockey here. Macklin Celebrini, San Jose Sharks rookie, NHL Rookie of the Month for the month of November.
And I still think he should have been on that 4 seasons.
Huh?
I still think he should have been part of the 4 leagues or the 4 countries thing, personally. He's good enough center. He's winning a lot of matches in the center role against talented players. Right. He's almost a point a game as a rookie, and he was over a point a game when he was in the juniors. There's no reason to sit a guy like that on the bench.
These rosters were 98% set before the season started. Yeah, had there been more injuries or something like that, yeah, maybe he would have gotten a look. Let's not forget, he missed a bunch of time at the beginning of the season, too, with an injury. So I think that's why. If he had been healthy, maybe so. But look, there's going to be lots of Olympic postseason action or tournament action and stuff like that in Macklin Celebrini's future. So I don't think I have to worry about there. But again, this is as Sharks fans, as James and I are, it's great. It's been a while since we've had anybody win these sort of monthly and weekly awards for the Sharks. It's the breath of fresh air. Two very seem fucking longer.
Yeah, it does seem longer.
It did seem a lot longer. Why you don't run east to west, run north to south? There you go, son. There you go.
Yeah, especially when you got 3 blockers ahead of you. Yeah. I'm sorry if you got to outrun your blockers or just do what Derrick Henry is and stiff arm into other players. You know.
Yeah. But so it's been good to watch. The Sharks have actually had a lot of good games until tonight. They got their asses blown out by Tampa Bay tonight. But again, that's going to happen.
Score. It was 8-1 last I looked. I mean, at least we beat the Kings and the Kraken like 7-2 and like 9-2 or whatever, 9-1 or 6-1 or something like that.
I mean, the final score ended up 8-1, so you know.
God damn! I wonder who got the 1 point for the Sharks. Hopefully, it was Celebrini. You gonna look it up? Because I'm about to.
Actually, yeah.
Let's see here. Come on. I still hate this NFL or NHL webpage. It's so bad. Wittenberg got the goal.
Oh, yeah. With an assist from
Zetterlund and Ruda. Wittenberg. I have no idea who Wittenberg is, but he's got 7 goals this year, so.
I think he's the guy that they traded for earlier this year, to be totally honest with you.
Okay. Man. The Lions are all of a sudden, they got a spark, and Gibbs is just hauling ass down the field.
This is going to turn into a shootout. This will be fun to watch the end of this. But
yeah,
the Sharks, it's been fun to watch. Unfortunately, you still are going to see some of the games like tonight. They're still a young team, just trying to find their way. But the week-to-week progress with guys like Celebrini, Smith, Eklund, guys like that, it just gives me so much hope for the future. So I think the Sharks are on the right path.
It does. I think, like, you're right. The Sharks are on the right path. We've seen a much more strung together win back-to-back wins, and then all of a sudden these lost. And I think that just goes to being a young team and not being able to really, especially for a young team, it's hard to understand how hockey works because you go every other day. You don't even practice some days because you're traveling and you're just trying to get sleep. Like, your sleep schedule is all fucked up if you're a hockey player. You don't actually have a sleep schedule. You take naps. You take very long naps throughout the day, you know, and then you go out there and you're skating again. And Celebrini, you know what I've noticed too? He plays multiple shifts. So that's got to be tiring on the kid like that, even though he's 18. So, yeah, I think that's part of it is his stamina's not there as they want him to be yet. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, the thing that I'm curious to see is as the season goes on, and you saw this last year with Connor Bedard, his team started muscling up on Bedard and not playing dirty, but really like who's physically overmatched. He's a young dude.
Yeah.
I think the Sharks are a little bit better set up in terms of some of the guys on that team in terms of size to protect the young guy and to protect the talent. And they're not going to let anybody take any liberties with them.
Oh, no, there's a couple defenders. I forget their names right now, but they will not let anybody come up and touch them.
Martin Ferraro looks like just you think like hockey defenseman, like, oh, you have 3 teeth.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That was who I was thinking his name was. That's one of them. There's like another 1 or 2 guys on that team where they're not going to let anything happen. They'll jump out of the bench and take a couple game suspension for jumping over the bench to go handle some business.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Macklin Celebrini is the future of the Sharks franchise.
100%.
So he is to be protected at all costs.
All costs.
He's the chosen one.
I mean, I still hear other teams when they go to talk about him, like, yeah, man, we just got to make sure we're on him right away because he's so slippery. And if you don't get on him right away, he's going to dangle and then put the puck in the net.
Well, you see when he gets into open space and he starts manipulating the puck, you can see the defenseman skating backwards. We're like, shit. You know?
Yeah.
Touchdown Detroit.
Oh, easy touchdown. Easy touchdown Detroit. Yeah. And that was a 4th down right there, so they needed that. Detroit gambling. Any baseball news?
Baseball news. We can start with the big free agency talk. The Juan Soto sweepstakes seems to be winding down. Per his agent, the imitable Scott Boras says that Juan Soto wants to have a decision made up by the end of this week before the owners' meetings start in Florida or wherever it's going to be, this year.
Right.
4 teams left in the running: Yankees, Mets, Blue Jays, and Red Sox. I think
Blue Jays would be an interesting team for him to go play for.
It would be. I mean, are the Blue Jays legitimately going to offer up $600 million over 10 or 11 years for Juan Soto?
I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see him in the Blue Jays out.
It would, and not to mention what that does to the balance of power in the AL East when you outbid, the Yankees and the Red Sox for it. You know, that would be huge. I still think at the end of the day, he stays in New York. That short portion of right field is meant for him. Him and Judge back-to-back in the lineup with a left-right power combo is pretty brutal. And let's not forget, he still got to the World Series last year with a makeshift pitching staff. Let's look. I am not a fan of the Yankees. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. But I think at the end of the day, the lure of wearing the pinstripes and getting to play next to Aaron Judge for the next decade, that's got to be pretty attractive. It is huge. It is. I think that's a big deal there. But at the same time, the Red Sox, they got a lot of money to spend. They got some young dudes coming up. They hung around for a little bit this year until they started having some injury problems. This is another storied franchise. I mean, Juan Soto could go and be another, Red Sox outfielder, hitting postseason bombs. And not to mention for the Red Sox to steal him away from the Yankees.
Boston would love that. Boston would be,
for sure. It's the reverse Johnny Damon is what it is. It's the reverse.
I was going to say it's just like Philadelphia stealing Barkley away. The Eagles.
Oh,
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Saquon. For sure,
it's
the same thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know. The Giants. It's not like the Giants were doing anything with Saquon anyway.
Right.
One thing, the Giants made a postseason run with Saquon, like a deep one, and then he left. Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point, though. I mean, look, the rivalry between those two cities and their sports teams is, I think, one of the best things around.
Right. Especially in baseball, Boston versus the Yankees is an awesome series.
Dude, there's that Netflix doc that I refuse to watch because both fan bases, I want to fight. So
I don't watch documentaries for a different reason, but yeah.
Right. For sure. I wouldn't be surprised if tomorrow or over the weekend that we get a landing spot for that for Juan Soto here. Two other things going on with formerly local baseball. I'm not really sure how to even figure out how to word that yet. The A's, after saying that they were too poor to participate in free agency in any offseason and trading away all their players instead of being able to sign anybody doing the extensions, signed Luis Severino to a 3-year, $67 million deal. Biggest contract ever handed out in the history of the franchise. Here's a guy who's been injured most of the last 3 years. He does have an opt-out after the second year. You can pretty much guarantee that. Just goes to show that at no point in time did John Fisher and Dave Kaval and anybody else in that organization negotiate in good faith with the city of Oakland and their fans. To say that to cry broke, so you have no money, you can't be competitive, but you can afford to overpay for a dude to pitch in your AAA park is bullshit. The
Right.
second part of that is that the Las Vegas Stadium Authority finally finalized some documents today regarding the relocation. A couple other things too. I guess John Fisher showed up with like a letter from a bank that they just said that he's good for the money. That he's going to pony up he and his family are going to pony up 1.1 billion to go and cover their share of the stadium build. It's gone up by over $250 million in the last year due to inflation and construction costs and add-ons.
Right.
Let me remind everybody that there was a $100 million funding gap to build the waterfront complex in Oakland that they said was too much and they couldn't afford to pay. And now they can afford to come up with an extra $1 billion to pay for it. Again, it just goes to show that Dave Fisher is a piece of shit. Never negotiated in good faith with the city of Oakland and the fans of Oakland. And MLB should be ashamed of themselves for acting like this guy is some sort of good businessman or someone that can be trusted. Ooh, a flea flicker for Green Bay.
Right?
No
and
one
he's
there.
going to get sacked. And he... God. Oh, man, I thought he got sacked right there. I thought he was going down.
Yeah, I still don't think. They say that at some point next spring there's supposed to be a groundbreaking in Vegas. They still don't have a location.
Right.
Where are you guys going to break ground at? Like just out in the desert somewhere?
That's never been the voters have never approved that land yet, right?
No. It's for one, the land parcel is not big enough for what they're trying to build. It doesn't mathematically is impossible. So I still you can sign all the documents you want. You can even have a groundbreaking until I start seeing like bulldozers and concrete being poured. I don't think it's going to happen. I still don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, dude, it's so dumb what's happening with Manfred.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Rob Manfred being fucking retarded, this golden bat rule that he floated. So the Savannah Bananas, they're a semi-pro team based out of Savannah, Georgia. They've got all kinds of cool and crazy and like weird rules they do during the game. One of them is the golden batter rule, where at any point in the game, you can substitute any batter from your lineup at any point to come up and hit. Manfred floated this idea with the owners that they should do this in MLB. I am by no means like a dude who was like, oh, you got to remember the traditions of the game, and we've always done it this way, so it's got to stay that way. I'm not one of those guys, but this is laughable. Like, what are you doing? This
is something you'd see in like
addressed in baseball. This isn't it,
right? This is something you see in those dumb baseball games that you play on your Nintendo 64 or PS5, and it's got all the crazy cartoons and it's like Little League bat. And let me come up here and like, here's a special.
You do stuff like this in beer league softball, not in MLB. It just goes to show that Manfred knows he's bad at his job, knows that interest in baseball is going away, and he's grasping at straws to try to make it stay relevant. And this is not the way to go about it. I do think that by shortening the games and, picking up the pace of play, that did work. Yeah. That has worked well.
And then stopping the shift, so there's more action in the infield too.
I don't.
More because you got more ground balls in the infield makes it a little bit more interesting.
I mean, I think that these guys are professional hitters. Hit them where they're not. Tony Gwynn would hit 500 against the shift. Okay, like professional hitters and stuff. And
right.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Everybody's trying to go yard.
And if MLB was smart, they do a little bit better job of marketing their stars. Again, for as popular as Shohei Ohtani is, when's the last time you saw him in anything besides a New Balance commercial? You don't see MLB out there having him doing a schedule drop or anything like that. Juan Soto, exactly. Juan Soto's going to be in the news when he signs with whoever he signs with, and then you're not going to hear from him until spring training.
Yeah, until season starts.
They're terrible at marketing their stars. They're terrible at marketing their ballparks. They're terrible at marketing rivalries. They're just MLB's bad at being a league.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too bad. Like, think about it during which one was it? Labor Day weekend? No, that was 4th of July weekend. Why don't you have like primetime rivalry games or something like this? Like have the Yankees and the Red Sox face off in the middle of the afternoon on a nationally televised game.
That'd be huge. It'd be huge numbers.
People won't be watching. Try it.
Bullshit.
1 year. You have 162 games. Try it.
Bullshit. I call bullshit on that big time.
I mean, you could do it with, you could do Yankees Phillies, You could do, I mean, A's Giants is always going to be a good one. You can do Dodgers Giants. I mean, it'll be Royals Cardinals. It's
Right.
the Chicago teams. Right.
Something like that.
There's
Yeah.
tons of stuff they could do, and they're just so bad at like their inability to come up with innovative ideas to make the game more interesting. Half the games are blacked out when you want to try to watch them when you buy the MLB ticket, which is a dumb way to grow the game, is not let people watch it. And then you float this idea in the off season, which is just it's a slap in the face of, you want to talk about what's disrespectful, John Runyon, to the players that have came and coached before you. That rule is disrespectful. Well, the baseball players,
even to float it out there is the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Right,
dumbest thing I ever heard.
I mean, yeah, and I'm sure that there will be some other dumbass idea he tries to float during the owners' meetings or stuff like that. I personally don't think that MLBPA would ever agree to anything like that. They would shut that shit down so quick.
I agree. And I think, it's just, what are you going to do? Oh, bases are loaded. Oh, let me throw Ohtani back up there one more time.
Well, and what do you do if your best player's on base? Like, what? Oh, we're going to put in a pinch runner, you can come up and hit. Like, how would it even work? It wouldn't. So
it wouldn't. It'd be dumbest thing ever.
Good job, Manfred. You're really terrible at everything.
Here, let me pull out my golden bat card and give it to the referee so this guy can bat again.
Right,
you gotta give him to the ref.
Right. Yeah. It's laughably dumb. So
yeah, I agree. I thought that was the dumbest thing I heard all week. So, and I heard some pretty dumb shit.
I've heard some pretty dumb things this week too, but that was definitely, definitely up there.
I think that kind of wraps it up for sports tonight, huh?
That's all I've got. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching this Best Coast podcast. I'm your host JJ. This is your host Zach. And remember, the easiest way to make money on the internet is to scare you. You guys all have a good night.
See you guys.